Salam. Hello everyone. My name is Mahdi Haji Khani from Persia. I'm gonna to explain some brief information about my country, which is called Iran, since 1920s. The land of Aryan. This is the meaning of Iran. Means the land of Aryans. The map of Iran and also the colors of Iranian flag. According to the pictures, you will see there is green colors, white color, and red color in our flag. From up to down, green, white, and red. Has a meaning. Green is, according to Islam, is somehow Islamic colors, because the dome of Muhammad Prophet, the Prophet of Muslim, which is situated in Saudi Arabia, has green color. Another meaning of green color in our flag is back to agricultures, Iranian agricultures, which is very rich. The white color has a meaning of Iranian peaceful. So we would like to have good relation with the other countries around the world. The red colors has a meaning of the blood of Iranian heroes, those who spend their life for the country. For example, the last problem that we had with Iraq around 30 years ago, we had battle with Iran and Iraq, and it was around 1 million people killed from both sides. But nowadays, there is peaceful between Iran and Iraq, our Muslim brothers. If you attention to the central part of Iranian flag, you will see there is a circle, meaning of Allah. We have the sign of Allah in our flag. Also, white inscription in green color and red colors is 22 times Allahu Akbar, means God is great. 11th of February 1979 was the time of revolution, which is equal to Iranian calendars Bahman. 22nd of Bahman is Iranian Revolution anniversary. That's why we have 22 times the name of Allahu Akbar in our flag. Situation of Iran, located in Middle East, including 17 countries. Around 400 million people live in Middle East. We have shared border with Iraq, with Turkey, Turkmenistan, Azerbaijan, Armenia, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and also in southern side we have Oman, Bahrain, Qatar, Kuwait, and Saudi Arabia. Iran, including 31 provinces, and we have several different languages, because the size of the country is huge, over 1,600,000 kilometers, the size of my country. 80 million people live in Iran. The capital of Iran called Tehran, which is, if you compare with the others historical city in Iran, Tehran is somehow like the modern city. It's the youngest city of Iran. We have several different weather. I can say 4 different seasons at the same time. So northern side of Iran, we have very cool temperature in summertime. Southern part of Iran, we have again cool temperature in winter time. So we have the all four seasons at the same time. Because of these variety of season, Iranian agriculture is very rich. So north of Iran, beside of Caspian Sea, we have rice field, tea field. In western and eastern side of Iran, we have wheat agricultures, and in southern side of Iran, we have dates and also the good quality of pistachio. You know, 70% of pistachio is from Iran, which is the good quality of pistachio all around the world. In north, in Caspian Sea, actually is not the sea, it's the biggest lake all around the world. Because the size is so big, we call it sea. So in Caspian Sea, there is a good quality of black caviar, which is the best all around the world, beluga caviar. Southern side of Iran, there is my favorite Gulf, which is called Persian Gulf. The largest empire all around the world, the first largest empire called Achaemenid Empire, from eastern side India to west Sardis and Macedonia, from northern side part of Siberia in Russia to south even goes to Egypt. It's including 23 different nations. I'm talking about 2,500 years ago during the time of Achaemenid Empire. All nations, they really liked to go to Persepolis to join to the ceremonial capital of Persepolis, which is celebrated Persian New Year, which is called Nowruz. Nowruz means new day. When Nowruz will start? 21st of March, the first day of spring, blossom, grass, fruits. We have new life. That's why we celebrated Nowruz as the Iranian New Year. So Nowruz is the culture of Zoroastrian. What is Zoroastrian? It's the oldest religion all around the world. The age is back to at least 4,000 years ago, before the Christ. The cuneiform inscription, which is the language of Achaemenid Empire. So we have 3 different cuneiform inscriptions, such as Old Persian, Elamite, and Babylon cuneiform inscription. According to this picture, this is the first human right, telling the story of conquered Babylon by Cyrus the Great, the greatest king of Achaemenid dynasty, which was happened 539 BC. 29th of October was the time that Cyrus the Great entered to Babylon. One of the first civilization that we have in Iran, according to the pictures, you can see Elam civilization or Elamite civilization, which was exactly the same time that 3 most important civilizations ruled Mesopotamia. I'm talking about Assyria, Babylon, and Sumerians. 3 most famous civilizations in Mesopotamia, which is in modern Iraq. The capital of Elamite dynasty called Susa. Susa was one of the most important capital in old Persian empires, in Elamite dynasty, in Medians, and also in Achaemenid dynasty. In Achaemenid dynasty, during Achaemenid time, we had several capitals, such as Pasargad, the first capital of Achaemenid dynasty, which was, we call it actually, the first United Nations, because all nations under control of Persian Empire on that time, they really liked to join to the ceremony. They really liked to go to Pasargad to meet Iranian kings, Cyrus the Great. So it was somehow like the first United Nation all around the world. The second capital, which is Persepolis that I mentioned, ceremonial capital, it was the treasury of all around the world. in 500 years before the Christ. Susa was another capital. You know, Achaemenids, they were somehow like the nomads, nomadic people. So in this case, they prefer to move their location by the season. In summertime, they prefer to go to Ecbatana, which was the summer capital. Somehow it was the cool temperature that we had on that time. And in winter time, they decided to move their location to Susa, which has warm temperature in winter time. So there is a special road called Royal Road or King Road from Susa to Sardis, including 110 caravanserai. You know the word of caravanserai, the old type of hotel. So caravan, group of people on Silk Road and Spicy Road, they use land of Persia to transfer their goods, their stuff. Spice from India and silk from China. So in this case, I would like to explain the brief information about 23 World Heritage Sites that we have in Persia. So since 1979 till 2018, 23 different historical or archaeological Iranian sites added to UNESCO site. The first is the Armenian church. You know, in Iran we have 98% Muslim. I mean, the majority of Iranians are Muslim. And there is 2% others different type of religion, such as Zoroastrian, Christians, Kalimi, and even Jewish. In this case, because of the other percentage of people, those live in Iran or Persia, we would like to have the holy place for them. So we have synagogue for Jewish in Iran, we have fire temple, the holy place for Zoroastrian, and also we have church for Christianity. This church and two others, which is situated in northwest part of Iran, are the oldest church in Persia. So there is an idea, is back to 7th century. We call it black church because the color of the material, which is limestone, is black. The next, BAM is still alive. Unfortunately, 2003, because of the damaged earthquake which was happened in southern side of Iran, BAM was destroyed. But we were so lucky because of our archaeologists and architects. They started to restore BAM. That's why we call it BAM is still alive. The largest brick castle all around the world is called BAM. Over 180,000 square meters. So it's like the city, including church, mosque, castle, bazaar, hammam, and also royal palace. Beestun is the next one. The largest relief all around the world. The age is back to Darius the Great, who was created the first post system, which is called Chaparkhane. Chapar and Chaparkhane. Chapar is the postman and Chaparkhane is the post office. As I explained before, 110 caravanserai that we had on the Royal Road, beside of the caravanserai, we had elements of Chaparkhane, which is the post office. So they could send the message, depends on the level of the message. We had several postmen or single postman. So if there is a top secret message, we had only one person. So in each post office, we had the fresh horse. The postman could change the horse with the fresh one to reach to destination quickly. According to this relief, we have 3 different cuneiform inscriptions telling the story of Geomat Mok, who was tried to take over the throne of the king, but it was not successful. That's why Darius the Great tried to take back the throne of himself, the throne of Achaemenids. Maymand, one of the oldest historical village which is situated in southern part of Iran, is somehow like the rocky village. So we have Maymand, we have Masule, we have Abyane, Uraman in western side of Iran. All of them are Iranian famous historical village. There is another one which is called Kandovan, which is very similar to Cappadocia, which is situated in Turkey. But there is a difference. There is local people live in Kandovan, which is impressive. So it's somehow like the active village. It's not abandoned. This is Gombad Kabus or Gombad Qabus. The age is back to around 1,000 years ago, back to Deylamian dynasty or Ziyarian. Ziyarian and Alebuye dynasty, both of them were under control of Deylamian dynasty. Those were ruled northern side of Iran. So the first dynasty that we had to started building the mosque. The most historical mosque that we have in Iran are back to Alebuye dynasty. Those were under control of Deylamian. So the age of the mosque that we have back to Alebuye dynasty, back to 1,100 years. So like the antique mosque. Golestan Palace. So is the only World Heritage Site, UNESCO site that we have in Tehran called Golestan Palace. In Tehran, we have several palaces. Because of the different altitude, we have winter palace and summer palace. Golestan is summer palace. What does it mean, Golestan? Golestan is rose land. Also is the name of the masterpiece of one of the top 5 famous Iranian poets, Sa'di. So he created 2 magnificent books, Golestan and Bustan. The age of Golestan complex is back to 400 years ago, back to the Safavid dynasty. But on that time, Tehran was not exist. Tehran was called Tehran, means warm area. And northern side of Tehran was called Shemran, means cool area. Lut Desert. We have 2 types of desert in Iran. Actually, country is dry. That's why the large part of the country is desert. But even at desert, we could find waters. Next, I will explain it. Let's talk more about Lut Desert, which is the hottest point all around the world since 2006 till 2009. What do you guess about the temperature? 70 degrees. 70, the hottest point all around the world. And from last year, they started to record again. It's getting warm again, the hottest point of all around the world. We call it Iranian Grand Canyon. Landscape of Sassanid empires. The last empire before Arabs' invention. So their religion was Zoroastrian, the religion of the Sassanid dynasty. We had several capitals in Sassanid dynasty, which is 3 of them added to World Heritage Site last year, 2018. So there is Bishapur, which is 120 kilometers far from Shiraz, another one called Firuzabad, and then there is on the way from Shiraz to Kerman called Sarvestan Palace, the palace of the Sassanid empires. Bishapur, the first one that I mentioned, you will shock once I finish the explanation of this magnificent story. Shapur the first, it was going to explain the victory of Shapur the first, who arrested Valerian, the empire of the king of Roman empires. According to Naqsh Rostam, which is one of the Iranian heritage sites in Shiraz, Shapur the first explained that he arrested Valerian with his 70,000 soldiers. But normally once the king arrests the other king, they will killed. But in this case, Shapur the first put some positive things, positive point behind. So he ordered to build palace for Valerian. How come? He arrested the king who was enemy of Persia. So instead of making blood, that lots of countries made it because of the enemy, he ordered Valerian to ask and invited engineers and architects to come to Persia to teach their own art to Iranian. That's why mosaic decoration came to Persia. This is the greatest mosque in Iran. Jame Mosque of Isfahan is the magnificent, including 470 dome. If you go there, you will see all 4 different styles of the mosque. You know, the first type of mosque was called Khorasani style. The second is called Razi style. There is another one called Azari style. And the last type of mosque called Isfahani style. All different type of the mosque is including to this mosque. So in formal time, this mosque was fire temple. Once the religion changed, they decided to change it, the building, to the mosque. Has 4 Ivan. What does it mean, Ivan? Ivan means portico. Portico, 4 Ivan portico. Whenever you see 4 Ivan mosque, it means that the mosque has Iranian style. 4 important elements of the life: water, fire, air, and earth, which is inspired by Zoroastrian. So we are Muslim, but we add Iranian cultures in our religion. Again, another magnificent part of Persia. Second largest square all around the world, called Naqsh Jahan Square, including 2 mosques, 2 magnificent mosques, 1 palace, and bazaar surrounded the square. The size is around 90,000 square meters. After Tiananmen in Beijing, this is number 2 because of the size. Over 200 shops. And it was the place for polo game. You know polo game? The game that the horse riders play ball. So the name was called Chogan. The tomb of greatest Iranian king. We called him father. Greek name Cyrus. Persian name Kurosh. The greatest king of Achaemenid dynasty. The founder of Babylon. Who let them free all the Jewish. Even the Jewish respect to him. Even Alexander, once he attacked Persia, he went to Pasargad to respect to his tomb. So he was greatest king in Persian empires. The tomb of Cyrus the Great, situated in Pasargad, 100 kilometers northern side of Shiraz, in Fars province, southern side of Iran. The tomb is simplicity. If you look at the tomb and you compare with the other tomb that we have in Achaemenid Empire, it's very, very simple, but it's magnificent. Material is limestone, and it's somehow inspired by ziggurat of Chogha-Zanbil that I'm going to explain information of ziggurat next. And here, treasury of all around the world called Persepolis. What does it mean, Persepolis? The original name is called Shahr Parse, city of Persia. Persepolis is Greek name, and also all name of the kings, the king of Achaemenid Empire are Greek name. The original name is called Shahr Parse. Persepolis, the ceremonial capital of Achaemenid Empire, situated in Fars province, 445 kilometers far from Shiraz. 125,000 square meters, several palaces, and there is two magnificent tomb of Artaxerxes the first, the Artaxerxes the second and third. And far away from that city, Persepolis, there is the tomb of Darius III, which is not possible to go there nowadays because it's under excavation. And also Persepolis is under excavation as well. Excavation of Persepolis is not finished. The material is limestone, and the time that Persepolis started to build was back to 518 BC. Over 200 years spent time to finish. The magnificent treasury or celebration, the capital, ceremonial capital of Achaemenid Empire. Unfortunately, 330 BC, Alexander burned Persepolis. He was drunk at the time that he burned Persepolis, and the next day he was so upset that I burned treasury of all around the world. So it's happened, but we keep it, and we would like to invite from people, those like the history of Iran, to come to Iran to show them the beauty of Persepolis. Oldest civilization that we found recently, called Shahr Sukhte, in Jirovd civilization. We believe that Aryan, they were from this part of Persia, which is in southern side of Kerman province. So for 400 years, we had dry year. That's why Aryan, they decided to leave Shahr Sukhte, and they went to Siberia, which is in northern side of Iran, part of Russia. And then they decided to back again to their hometown after 400 years, and they divided to two parts, in the European and Persians. So Persian, they were nomads, nomadic people. So they moved their location by the season, as you know before. The first brain surgery happened there. According to the excavation, we found the brain surgery in burned city. What does it mean, the burned city? It means the Shahr Sukhte, it means burned city, actually. The tomb of Sheikh Safiyeddin Ardebili, grandfathers of Safavid dynasty, or ancestor of Safavid kings, situated in northwest part of Iran in Ardabil province. So there is tomb of Sheikh Safiuddin, who was somehow the Iranian Sufism, and the tomb of first king of Safavid dynasty, or the founder of Safavid dynasty, Shah Ismail I. Inside is magnificent. There is shining colors and a special type of Mogarnas decoration. The hydraulic system of Shushtar, done by Romans. There is a river, goes to Shushtar. They divided the river. 1/3 of the water goes to the city. By the tunnels, they divided to several parts, and they started to build the water mill. Shushtar is situated around 80 kilometers far from Susa, which is called Shush in Persian language. So Shapur I, he started to build another city better than Susa. Better in Persian called Tar. Once we have Tar after the name, it means better than Susa. Shush, Tar, better than Susa. Biggest brick dome all around the world. Gumbad Sultaniyeh, the capital of Ilkhanid dynasty. They had several capitals, Maraghe, Sultaniyeh, and Isfahan were the capitals of Ilkhanid dynasty, somehow like the Mongol dynasty. Oljaita, he had several religions. His Christian name was Nicholas. His Islamic name, because he had several religions, he converted to others' religion. His Islamic name, Muhammad Khudabande. His Mongol name was called Oljaita. And it's interesting, once he died, he had no religion. The oldest and the biggest dome all around the world is the biggest dome all around the world because of the brick material, has 200 tons weight. The dome of Santa Maria del Fiero in Florence, inspired by Dome of Sultania, has a great colors, turquoise, which is somehow like the Islamic colors. Susa, one of the most famous archaeological site of Iran, which is somehow archaeological hill. Since Elamite dynasty, Susa was famous. Even in Achaemenid dynasty was the winter capital of the king of Achaemenids. Darius the Great, he built Apadana Palace in Susa. There is a museum in Susa as well. According to this picture, you can see the glazed brick showing immortal army, 10,000 army, 10,000. The number of immortal army was fixed. 10,000 is magnificent. The next is the largest bazaar all around the world. The largest covered bazaar. What do you guess the size of the bazaar? 10 kilometers. Is magnificent. Narrow corridors, narrow alleys, connected points. Even me, as an Iranian, if I go there, I have to use the map. Otherwise, I will lost. This is clear understanding. So the material is brick. You will see Muzaffariye, the best part of Tabriz Bazaar selling magnificent Persian carpet. Solomon throne, Takht Suleiman, which was the palace of Sassanid dynasty, and also it was the royal fire temple of Sassanid. During Sassanid dynasty, we had several fire temples, but three of them were very famous: Azar Goshnasp, Azar Mehr, and Azar Farambakh. Azar Goshnasp was the royal fire temple. Azar Mehr belongs to religious or priest, and Azar Farambakh belongs to ordinary people, farmer shepherds. We have another famous fire temple which is situated in Yazd. I will explain more about Yazd next. The fire temple that we have in Yazd, the fire is holy fire burning since 1,530 years ago. Still burning is the holy fire. Ziggurat. This is the place that the tomb of Cyrus the Great that I mentioned is inspired by this magnificent temple. The age is back to 1,250 years before the Christ. It means around 3,125 years ago. 1,125 years ago, yeah. 105 to 105 meters, the size of magnificent temple of Ziggurat, of Chogazambil. It was 52 meters from beginning, first time, including 5 floors. Now we have only 2.5 floors, around 25 meters. So each floor built from ground. The last floor covered with glazed brick, because they believe that floor or that room belongs to the goddess. Inshushinak, a person who was ordered to build this magnificent temple, Untashgal, the king of Dur Untash, which was the capital of Elamite dynasty. So he ordered to build this magnificent temple to give as a present, as a gift to the god Inshushinak. So they believe that the god from the last floor will fly to sky and then he will back to the earth again. The colors, as I explained before, was somehow turquoise, glazed colors, glazed brick, saving the light of the sun during the day, and it was shining at night. So people ordinarily, they believe the shining room at night should be the room of the gods. Access to that floor was impossible. It's acceptable because catching or touching the god is impossible. Persian garden, Iranian garden. Iranian love gardening. All the palaces that we had in past, Achaemenid dynasty, Sassanid dynasty, they built at the middle of Iranian garden. Who was person who created magnificent Iranian garden? He was Cyrus the Great. Again, the greatest king of Persian empires. So it had the name, the Persian garden or Iranian garden. The first name of Iranian garden was called Paradisia, which is went to English, paradise. So it's paradise. Has a special elements. The most important elements of the life is water. The second important is the sound of the water. Explain that the life is going on. Don't worry, be happy. The third element of Iranian garden, symmetrical decoration. Everything on the right side you can find in left. Symmetrical decoration is always repeat and repeat in Iranian cultures. And the last element is the wall or the fence protected the garden. Perhaps you will see the pavilion, which is called kushk in Parsi, at the middle of the garden as well. So what happened nowadays in modern life? There is not enough space to have Persian or Iranian garden in our house, but we found always we have golden key in our pockets. There is Persian carpet. The patterns of Persian carpet is always inspired by Persian garden. The magnificent irrigation system all around the world, again, is back to at least 2,500 years ago, back to the Achaemenid dynasty. You know, Achaemenid dynasty is magnificent. It has a very, very deep situation in our hearts. Irrigation system that we have mostly in desert city. You go to desert, there is impossible to find the waters, but again, we have golden key. We brought waters far distance, 40 kilometers, 50 kilometers, even 90 kilometers from mountain to desert. Underground horizontal tunnel and vertical water well. So we transfer water to desert easily. On the way, we have lots of activities such as water mill, such as water reservoir. And also it was possible to move water to make the ice. We have ice bank. How come we could make ice in desert? It's magnificent. The name is called Qanat system. The second historical city all around the world. After Venice in Italy, Yazd is the magnificent historical city in Persia, in Iran. It's divided to two parts, modern site, historical site. Historical part of Yazd is added to the World Heritage Sites. Yazd means holy city. Yazd is situated at the middle of Iran, exactly like the oasis is situated at the middle of the desert. In Yazd, according to this magnificent picture, you will see thousands of the wind catcher. What's the wind catcher? Is traditional AC, traditional air condition, which is in modern life we have Samsung and LG air condition system. At that time, we had this type of magnificent wind catcher to make cool and fresh our houses. So Yazd has another name, the city of wind catchers, the city of Qanat. So the material of Yazd is mud and straw, easy to repair, and also it was somehow protected the houses because of the temperature. So in warm temperature that we have during the summer, our houses was very cool because of thick wall which was covered with mud and straw. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you enjoy the brief information that I had about the Iranian World Heritage Sites.
Thank you for your excellent presentation on Iranian culture and history. As you explained, The country name of Iran signifies Aryans, or the land of Aryans, which means the Iranians are the descendants of Aryans. So I'd like to ask you about the origin of Aryans, the first original Orthodox tribe in terms of language, culture, and tradition, and so forth. And migration. So could you please explain more about this?
You're welcome. It was my pleasure. About the Aryans, they're actually came to Iran from south part of Siberia. So they divided to two parts. Actually, they entered to Persia from right and left side of Caspian Sea. They divided to several parts. Indo-European and Persians, they were the most important part of Aryans. Those came to Persia, they divided to two, Persians, Medians, and also originally Persian, they were somehow like the nomads. 9 different type of nomadic. You know, they move their location by the season. That's why, for example, Achaemenid dynasty, as I mentioned before, we had several capitals such as Pasargad, such as Persepolis, Susa, and Ecbatana. So they were somehow like the nomads.
Thank you for your lecture. It was really interesting. And my question is, was the site of Persepolis a city where the kings of Achaemenid dynasty and the ambassadors of different 23 countries gathered to offer a ritual ceremony, a religious ritual for the god in Zoroastrianism? So was the Persepolis a religious capital?
Actually, in Achaemenid dynasty, from the beginning of Achaemenid dynasty, it was free for the people to choose the religion. Persepolis was ceremonial capital. 21st of March, Iranian New Year, which is called Nowruz, was the time that all 23 different nations under control of Persian Empire, they decided to go to Persepolis. It was not mandatory. They really liked to join to that ceremony. That's why they brought with themselves souvenirs from different corners of Persian empires. The head of the group or the leader of delegation was Persian, that we call it satrap. So he led the group to enter to the palace, and they brought their own greatest souvenirs. For example, from India, they brought spices. From Elamite dynasty, they brought lions. So each delegation brought special things from their nation, from their country. In Persepolis, we don't have any holy place. There is no tomb, there is no fireplace, there is nothing. There is only palaces. That's why we believe that Persepolis was the ceremonial capital.
Thank you for your presentation. I wonder how it was possible to build the ice banks in the hot desert.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for your nice question. About ice bank, what is this? Ice bank. In Persia, we call it yakh chal. Yakh means ice. Chal means hole. On the way of Qanat system, we have several different type of activities, which is one of them water mill. Another one is water reservoir. So we keep the waters during rainy season and we use during summertime. And also another activities that we had, another elements that we have on the way of Qanat system, it's yakhchal or ice bank. The picture that I'm going to explain, the next one, shows the ice bank building. In this case, you will see the dome. The shape of ice bank from inside is exactly looks like the egg. The half of the egg you can see on the ground. The rest of the egg is underground. So you have to enter to see the whole shape of egg. Beside of ice bank, actually the material again is brick and covered with mud and straw. Mud and straw, it's easily you can repair the body of building. Beside of ice bank, you can see there is tall and high wall. What's the purpose of the tall wall? In this case, we could make the wide and long shadow. Okay? Beside of wall, we dig 10 centimeters pool of the water, exactly beside of the wall. So we put the water inside of the pool. In winter time, you know, in desert, there is very cold temperature. After few days, we made ice. Actually, the water became frozen. And we cut 1 meter to 1 meter. The size doesn't matter. We cut it the ice, and then we put into the building, into the ice bank. Between the ice, we add some straw to keep it cool, the ice. So we close the we close the door of the ice bank, and once per day, twice per day in summertime, we use the ice from ice bank. It's the traditional refrigerator. So nowadays, we call it yakhchal. The name of fridge in Iran called yakhchal. So we use exactly the old name of ice bank, the old name of Iranian old refrigerator. Thank you so much for your attention. I hope to see you in my country, which is the most peaceful and safe country in Middle East. You can come to Persia easily. Just get visa and flight ticket. That's it. Thank you so much for your attention.